Okay, I think this is working. Yeah, there's the pause button. Cool. Welcome back to Desperation Point, session 29. I'm your Game Master, Daniel Fox. And this video probably looks 100% more clear because we're actually not on Zoom. We're in person. Everybody's here.
Yay.
Yay.
We're gaming in person again. And we had a feast for friends.
Yeah, we did.
We had Indian food before this, so thank you, patrons, for helping sponsor all that.
Thank you very much.
It's been a year, 3 months, and 4 days.
That's
Count it. So I think we talked about last time. We're on our last 2 game sessions until we begin our new story. We're going to end this, and we're going to start anew in a new game from basic tier with a new player at the table, Sarah. So last session, we kind of decided we have 2 sessions left. How do we make it exciting? How do we make it work and tick off on all the stuff that we wanted to do? Knowing that we could continue playing this into infinitum, infinity, we're like, what are we gonna do? So I thought what we would do first is we would cover what happened last game session, and then we'll kind of talk above board what we want to do in the last 2 sessions, and we'll kind of jump into the game itself. I don't imagine there'll be a fight tonight. I actually didn't set up any terrain because I assumed. And speaking of which, you all should be able to see this through the camera I'm looking over. Yeah, so now you should be able to see our new little camera set up here too. But nonetheless, let's. I keep looking at the screen to make sure we're being recorded. I'm so fearful of like OBS crashing out. I'm like, what's going on? But Amazon can be like, I can look right at the screen, but. Whenever we have it ready here, I'll be going down there. I can just look straight on. So I'm on mild paranoia. So let's first roll for coins. So everybody grab a d6. I've got 1 for me. What do you all have?
2.
6 for thee.
Yes.
Only 5.
If only you rolled that 6 on damage all the time.
Oh.
Okay, so I got 2 coins. You all 4. Here in the middle of the turntable. Wicka. So as needed, use them. You have 4. So let's talk about. Oh, we need initiative rolled. Let's do initiative rolls. We know Nick is our initiative tracker. Do you have your initiative tracker figure? No, here it is. Here he is. He's got a giant flag. As we forget.
I miss track a lot.
These things happen.
Better you than me.
15.
Nice.
15.
Ooh, roll off. What do you guys got?
There's no way this is going to be better than mine.
What's your
4.
your total bonus is 4?
4.
Okay, yeah, mine is 7.
How'd you get a 15 then?
Yeah.
8.
Because it's plus 3, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's like. Wait. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a 19.
Dang, getting beat up by the roll master over here.
Rolled 0.
And Keegan?
21.
21. Of course. And
Can never beat
I'm on
Keegan.
the bottom this week.
I'm 12.
I don't know who
I
can.
have a 12 now.
You
Now
do.
that we went up, I have a
So
12.
good.
It's really hard to beat.
The guy that follows everyone always goes first.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's true.
So you can wait to be told what to do.
Hold on,
Ready.
I'm waiting.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to wait.
Keegan's like that Doberman that's just sitting there, like, waiting. Point me.
We just need you to predict like what we're gonna do, and that way we're like, "Hey, Keegan, I need," and you just hand it to us.
That, you know what? It makes sense.
Yeah. So let's talk about what happened last game session. Where do we leave off? What happened?
We went into the city.
Yep.
And
The
Yes.
Pictish City.
the Pictish City. Yeah, we
That's
talked
right.
about it. Like, do we want to try sneaking around? We're gonna go through it.
Uh-huh.
And we were like, you know what? We're just gonna go through it. We're just gonna deal with it as it happens.
Talked about it way too much.
Yeah. Talked
Yeah.
about it until we almost died, so we just went for it.
That's right.
No, it's probably a good idea we talked about it for so long.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the druids were killing them the night before.
Yeah. It seemed like
Y'all could have been murdered the night before. No big deal.
yeah, TBD.
We waited so long it fixed itself.
Yep, just waited long enough.
That it fixed itself.
It was the Keegan method of
Just waited.
Hey, look,
In-
you have the
indecision.
first initiative, you get to wait first, okay? That's
It's the Keegan method of conflict. Come on.
patience.
So yeah, we walk into the city. We see a bunch of dead people. It's
No, we
really-
didn't. I thought there was none. There was
Oh,
no
was there?
bodies.
They were just gone.
It was everything was
It was just
destroyed,
abandoned?
but there was no bodies.
Okay.
That's what I got written down. Like,
Yeah, I believe you. And then we went into the keep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The longhouse.
The longhouse. And we found this tree-like creature, like upon a throne.
Yep.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then what was the name of the druid? Or
Unkill of the Nine.
Yep.
right, it was a Siabran, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, who was here punishing the Picts because they went across the river, right?
The Treaty of
They-
the
they-
Druids
they-
has been broken. Sorry, everyone. Just
That's fine. That's
They
fine.
broke the bridge. They went past the bridge.
Right.
They're not supposed to go past the bridge.
Oh,
Right. It's like
naughty,
an
naughty.
old law you just
Right.
don't do. But Spite did it in spite of it.
Yes.
Yes.
In spite of it.
In
I think
spite.
that's one. If you're counting.
Just since we started recording. Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
It's early.
like
but make a noise so the
Bring-
camera
bring
can
some-
like see me.
bring some like protective bubble against the puns.
Production
because it's no
protection against
longer-
pun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I've been stuck in quarantine for a year with my husband. Y'all can't beat him on puns.
That's your husband has the punishing quality.
He really does.
Punishing.
Been there, done that.
Oh my god. Two.
You could say
You guys don't know that joke, but two.
So
Anybody
one would ask, like, with having all the time in the world to practice it, has he reached his peak?
I'm just curious. Are you guys trying to make me leave before the last game?
Hey, you rode with us. That was your mistake.
There's a thing called Uber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uber.
We're all grown-ups here. We can use apps and Uber.
Who wants to pick up the story from there? So you go into the Longhouse and you meet Ankil the Nine. He's a Siabran.
Yep. And then we have a lengthy discussion with him trying to figure out exactly what happened.
Yeah. Because
And then-
we're looking for Otreg. We're trying to get out of him the information. Like, we're looking for Otreg. We get out of him that Spite has gone. He's like traveled back the way we came, basically.
Right.
He's
Sundown
gone back.
Hill.
He's gone back to Sundown Hill. So
But he still ended up punishing his people for his mistakes,
right.
which seemed to be. I'm just gonna say it, guys. That seems very drastic.
Yeah. All his people are dead, and he got away scot free.
Yeah, I mean,
asshole.
It seems like you're punishing the wrong people.
Yeah.
But then he also said that Spite was too powerful for him to take on. So I'm like, so you're just picking on these Pictish people that can't stop you? Like,
They
that's really
picked on the
Pictish.
Picts.
Come on.
Pictish picked on everybody, to be fair.
The Picts have picked on everybody. Yeah,
We
that's true.
can pickle that.
But yeah, so and then we basically, I think Nick's character basically kind of convinces them that, look, we're kind of in a parallel path here. You know, you should just go your own way and not kill us, and and we're gonna go that way. And-
We're on the way to kill Spite anyway, so just
right.
let us do it.
Just let us do that. And then we were like, okay, is it okay if we pass you? We don't want to die. You just slaughtered
And he's like,
10,000 people.
well, you're Aridane, so you're good, basically.
And then he warns us that of the Forgotten.
There's the Crota are past the bridge,
Right.
so that's what we're gonna watch out for them.
And that's the Forgotten Aridane, the ones who were left behind.
Well, those were Grawl setters.
And they've become cursed. Part man,
Cursed.
part cursed. Turf and turf. But yeah, so they've become like half man, half creature.
Creature.
But nobody knew no one was left behind. That was a very enlightening moment that the Airdanes left people behind. I mean, it would make sense. They were kind of warring and running and trying to get out of this place as quick as possible.
Yeah, the legends, or the stories in the Holy Librams say that the Aridane, who were called the Andals in the Holy Book, were fleeing the Forbidden Kingdom from something. They fled the Forbidden Kingdom and they came to the First Shore, and the First Shore was the northern side of this continent. And the further south they went, that's when they ended up in Gwarhoth, and eventually in Dunbrut, and eventually ended up in Aglador. So,
And they basically warred their entire way through.
they did, yeah, while trying to flee.
And continue
Whatever,
to do so.
something else.
Yeah.
When did they stop?
Yeah, and then they moved into where they're at and just started warring with everybody.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they keep on trying to go south into Gothmorin, so that's just...
It's true.
What are you
It's true.
fleeing from? What are you fighting against? That's the Aridane. That's how they do. So, yes, you find out that the Lucrota and Spite have crossed the river, and they're now going to Sundown Hill to join with Salamandra. And that kind of where the paths kind of cross, because you all have obviously have been at cross with Salamandra. In fact, you killed their 3 apprentices, the 3 sisters, as they were called, Siabrin. And were told that Siabrin can't easily be killed. I don't recall what happened after all that. I think that kind of came out after you had fled Sundown Hill with Abigail, not in chains. But I think it's after you had fled.
Abigail, less chains.
Less chains. Less chains. Minus chains.
Le chain.
The chain.
Unchained.
Unchained. Yeah, Abigail Unchained. That's right. There we go. Abigail. So you fled with Abigail out of Sundown Hill. This is before your time, Tim. But obviously you'll know now that Abigail is like the key to unifying the Dalriana and Hivernia, the northern kingdoms, back into one. And she wants nothing to do with it. And that's why the Druids are after her.
Right.
So, and that's why also she initially had, and you don't know this, Tim, but she actually came to Sundown Hill to stay with a distant uncle who was the Earl of Sundown. Turns out he's out of his mind. He's reputedly being controlled by Salamandra and these 3 sisters. So, in the midst of freeing Abigail from the dungeon to help liberate their friend in Stonehold from an obligation to the Druids, they inevitably find out it's kind of caused a bit of a mishmash of who's on whose side and where do we stand, what we fall for, like, what are we going to do?
Well, it sounds like even the Druids, right? There's a civil war within the Druids too,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
a
Very old war. So, I think what we're going, so everybody gets 50 reward points for that, by the way.
Well, we're maxed out 0 point.
Oh, that's right.
I can still buy spells.
No,
I'll take
buy
all your
focuses.
reward
No.
points.
Can I hand mine to him?
Yeah, give yourself reward points because you may have. Yeah, by the way, I did forget to mention that we have actually moved everybody's character to the end of advanced tier. So starting with Keegan, what are your 3 professions?
Oh, I am a valet camp follower and a chamberlain.
Sorry for all that.
Good. What about Calvin?
Calvin went Hedgewise, Elementalist, Archmage.
Nice. Chauncey?
I don't remember the first one.
He was a
mercenary, I think.
Sellsword.
Sellsword.
There you go.
Yeah, military officer, hedge knight.
Nice. What about Osbert?
Kind of.
Jester, Nomad, Moot Warden.
And then last but not least, Collinsworth. Not Collinsworth, but Collinsworth.
Animal tamer, trapper, gamekeeper.
Keeping game.
Does Gamekeeper do?
He's got game.
Game recognized game.
Game does game.
It does.
Well, so we are going to, because we have a limited amount of time, I'm going to kind of narrate some things that happen over the next week or so. Probably more than that, but we'll just jump right into it. We'll assume that you had crossed the Andals Bridge into the Black Henge, and you found Otrig, who was mortally wounded. And he is stuck in this misshapen form, half man, half creature, like literally almost down the middle. Like his body was caught mid-transmogrification, and he suffered a terrible wound at the hand of Spite, and is for the most part listless. It doesn't take you long to get back to Sentinel Pine from Gwarhoth, through the vast forest that brought you here, beyond the tall peaks of the Horned Society, beyond the cold, and eventually coming back to Sentinel Pine in this small, hidden location of the Nameless. And that's when you join once again with the Nameless's leader, Vernon Stahl. The old, grizzled, gray-bearded fellow and his cadre of 100 or less mix of soldiers and families and children who have settled in here. The old settlers of Stonehold. And you pick up, and it's like you're going across a map. You pass the Dick of Winter, and you head back to Stonehold. The Dick of Winter being it's the first location you found on the map.
It was.
It's a big plinth of rock in the middle of the snow with two boulders beside it. And it was named by by Osbert as the Dick of Winter. But think about it. Almost a decade after, the people who were originally here in Stonehold return back to where your settlement kind of barely clinging to life now, with a small, let's just say it's not clinging to life, but there's not very many people here. You return sometime toward mid-autumn. So this game started in spring, if you recall. So mid-autumn you return to Stonehold. And we'll assume that you all kind of, the major players, the major non-player characters, the major players, all of you are kind of around, you're inside this tall, dilapidated gray chamber, filled with wood smoke as it's getting cold outside. The interior of Stonehold, this main chamber, is large and airy, and despite the fact that the heat from the two twin hearths are roaring on either side of this room, the heat doesn't seem to reach in the middle of the table. It's just so huge with these massive vaulted old ceilings that have been crumbling for years. Here in Stonehold's main keep, the donjon, where, if I'm not mistaken, when they were here before, was ran by Miles Standish, the quartermaster, the quartermaster as he was called in the north. So you all kind of gather around this table, all of you, the major players once again. Dane, Anshka, Vernon Stahl, the leader of the Nameless, Credence Redding, others that were with you, other non-player characters, are all there, gathered, including Abigail. And the room darkens. It is night outside, and the tone is grim as you're in the midst of planning what to do about Sundown Hill. And that's where we'll pick up.
We've arrived. We finally made it. It's a homecoming for some. Long time coming, as I look to Vernon and some of the Nameless. It's good to be back, but we're going to have to fight hard to keep this place. I, for one, will remain. I will keep Stonehold or die trying, as Osbert's belief and flaw have now become duty and fatalism.
Aw, twinsies.
That's so fitting.
It
That you
is.
two would have the same.
Yeah.
I followed him.
To death! Oh, wait, to duty. Same.
Both.
But different.
Well, hopefully you won't have to go with the dying part.
Well, I'm just getting to the fact that this is my home now. There's nowhere left to run. This is our piece. We've carved this piece of the north out, and no one is going to chase us away any longer.
Yes, it's our home now. It's our turn now.
Yes.
It's our turn. Our time. Yeah, you were joined naturally by a few people who you've known for some time. Dr. James Coventry, Sir Phineas, the bailiff who has been keeping here, a deposed knight from Aglador, who you know by name, Chauncey. Sir Phineas is he was deposed for some pretty nasty stuff, nothing murderous by any means, but He's accompanied by this very large block of a man named Tuck, who has he has a monk's pate. He's a labor leader here, and the twins Aaron and Aaron, the brother and sister, and the Gralsteaders, and Sten the Horsemaster, and all manner of other people here. Like, it's almost like you've got the gathering of Stonehold here. All the chieftains of the Nameless, all the major people who have followed you here to Stonehold and settled. Almost like it's a community of people working together, trying to figure out what's going to happen.
So did the Gralsteaders come?
Yeah.
Even with Otrig, like, dead?
Well, mortally wounded, but he's
Mortally
still,
wounded.
He's still clinging to life.
Okay, so we were able to bring him back.
Yeah.
Got it.
He's unconscious, and Dr. James Coventry, who looks like, who's the actor he looks like?
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. He has the same Hugh Grant like stutter
That
too.
stutter, yeah.
Yeah, but yes. Yeah, Dr. James Coventry has been tending to Otrig as best he can, but the last time you talked with him a few days ago, his only answer was,
Did because we got Chauncey, but what about
Credence.
Credence?
Credence is still out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still been cursed. Something different than what happened with Chauncey, his brother.
Okay.
Credence is still underneath some perilous curse that could be broken, perhaps. We shall find out. But yes, even Sten's folk, the horse trader,
Yeah.
who has at ends with the Green John in Old Gralstead is there. Not the Green John, keep this in mind, but you know you have basically two factions to contend with.
Mm-hmm.
You know that to the west, when you look at your full your huge vellum map, that's currently on Roll20, but we'll pretend it's in front of us. There's a Dick of Winter as the centerpiece. As you explored the north in this entire campaign over these last 29 game sessions, you've kind of made markings where you've went, you've marked places that you've explored, then you basically opened up the map. And you know that immediately to the northwest, just a few days away, is the Green John and Old Gralstead. You have no idea where they stand. You don't know if they're for or against Sundown Hill, at least at the moment you don't. You do have some information we could probably talk about around the table, but you know to the north, about a week, near Cauldron Lake, is where Sundown Hill is, which is where Salamandra and Spite has apparently taken the Picts, or in specifically the Lucrota, there, to join forces with Salamandra.
So have we heard any news from Sundown Hill through maybe the traders that was set up?
There is a woman, a bitter woman, I should note, who you've seemingly wronged sometime in the past, who has been interacting with people from Sundown Hill. Remember her name? Her husband may have been murdered by you all.
May have been. Yes.
Oh.
I shot him in the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mercy?
Mercy, yeah. What's Mercy's last name? Do you recall?
I think I actually
Full of grace.
might have it written down somewhere.
I'm looking now. through my
Oh,
own
the
notes.
one woman. Okay, with the
Yeah.
children, and the one children turned into the were, whatever that was.
Yeah, the creepy.
The weregoat.
The black goat of the woods. Oh boy, that was a case of mistaken identity.
That was a random encounter.
Yeah, it was.
That-
It turned into 4 game sessions.
Yeah.
3 game sessions.
That we handled perfect.
So great.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
I would do the same thing again.
Yeah.
So, Mercy, this woman, has been interacting with people from Sundown Hill, and it sounds like, from what you've heard, Sundown Hill's cut off all contact with Stonehold.
Okay.
Complete shutdown. You've no idea right now as of what fate lays in store for the people of Sundown Hill. It's still a season of trading, but they have not come south.
Well,
Goodworth. Sorry, I think I found the name.
Yeah, Mercy Goodworth.
Alright.
Good work. Mercy Goodworth. Good work it was.
Mercy me.
They're named like Puritans.
Yeah, merciful of grace.
Yeah.
I found the whole storyline. Anyway, back to
Well, that's a shame, but can't say I blame those reactions. I mean, we did, after all, completely change your life.
What can be done? Osbert shrugs.
Well, what can be done? Many things can be done. It's whether or not we should.
Exactly. Let's put it behind us.
So you killed this woman's husband?
As I said, behind us.
Well, then you need to make it right. If you are going to be lord of this keep, then you need to give her land and protect her.
Well, it was a matter of killing him or killing his or letting him kill his grandchild.
As I said, complicated.
But the woman hates you?
Yes, because without us, then...
The grandchild will be dead and the husband will be alive?
Well, no, the grandchild's father would be dead.
I am very confused. I think you should still take this woman underneath your yoke and protect her. She has no husband to do that.
It seems like this is a bit off topic,
True.
sir.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sir Phineas says.
If we're to cross swords with Sundown Hill,
Yeah, sorry.
I think that we need to be on the best footing as we can. And I think what that may entail is perhaps seeing where we stand with the Green John. You know, we never had outright hostility towards him, but, you know, Osbert's eyes moves over to Sten. Some of our alliances, you know, he doesn't prefer, but I think he and we have mutual reasons why we would not want the North unified.
Mutual reasons! Vernon Stall slams his hand down on the table. The man killed Balbany's Dalton Thorne. Maybe you ain't remembering right. There'll be no peace with the Green John. Not one that I would brook. Nor these folk either.
Fair point.
Well,
Maybe just a truce to make
A truce for now?
make sure that your flank isn't exposed.
Yeah, that's what I worry about. Being caught in a war with two fronts. North and south.
the biggest reason we want to go to Sundown Hill is to get at a small set of people, not the entire settlement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps we can lean on Sorsha again.
Who's that? Vernon inquires.
Captain of the guard at Sundown Hill.
What about her?
She owes us.
That's true. We did help her out of a spot.
And if she were to deliver on what she owed, we'd be doing precisely what she wanted us to do in the first place.
And just, what is that? Stephanius inquires.
She wanted us to take out Salamandra and her 3 sisters?
We got 3/4 of the job done.
Yes. We did not take out Salamandra, and, well, seeing it as how we have to somehow deal with Salamandra and Spite, and is it just the 2 of them?
Just 2, as far as I can reckon. And everyone else under their employ.
Yes. So, I don't think we'll be having a discussion.
Didn't the 9 say there was many?
He said there was 3 sisters, but he didn't know that we
No, I meant Spike.
Yes, Spite said that. I mean, the 9 said that Spite was Legion or many or something, but the 9 also called themselves the 9 when they were one physical form.
He's speaking in riddles, you know. I don't know for sure. We didn't clarify the way he was talking.
He just seemed to
Perhaps we should have.
seemed to think he was more powerful than himself and destroyed a whole village.
Yes, I thought that when I was speaking, perhaps literally, but more poetically, I believe the phrase is apocryphal, where, you know, it's like the Libram says the world was created in so many days, you know, that sort of. So I believe that they may have several within their one person, because when the 9 was speaking, they spoke with many voices without even speaking.
Mm-hmm.
We heard them.
That's true.
Without them moving their mouth. So, yes, if they were 9 and Spite is many, perhaps it's some sort of level of power.
Druidic power? Yeah, yes, that makes sense.
We can conjecturize all day.
Yeah. They could be over 9 or 9,000.
We need to get down to brass tacks, figure out what we're going to do next.
Could be over 9,000, and if 9 could do that to a city, then 9,000, well, we may as well march to our death anyway.
Here. Sounds great. Let's do it. So what is the plan? The Rolsteaders will assist us? Do you want to go to the Green John and try and broker a truce, or you want to leave your flank open, as you have said?
I would partly think that history would repeat itself. I mean, the Green John, he did his best to stay out of the nose of the White Wolf's way, right? I think he'd probably do the same. That's how he survives.
Yeah, I imagine he's... at least I'd hope to see... You know, he probably has an inkling of what's going on around here. He'd probably just see that that's where we're headed and let us do what we do.
The man is a snake in the grass, Sir Phineas says.
Well,
That's what it sounds like to me.
Isn't the Green John...
He'll wait for his opportunity.
Right.
Isn't the Green John staying in Grolstead?
Old Gralstead.
Old Gralstead, yeah.
Yes. So I would imagine that Green John may try to move into Sundown Hill if we win, and try and move into Stonehold if we lose. Or leave Stonehold alone.
I think he's pretty comfortable where he is. Who knows? He may not move, but...
Well, expand.
I take your all's point.
Setting up franchise, Vernon says.
Yes.
I take your point.
Well,
Do we have time for this?
Eyes turn toward Keegan.
I don't happen to be one that's well known in warfare, but I am observant, and if we point out something, why don't we send someone to go see what he's doing? Because if he's going to be marching against us, if he has any idea of what's been going on, or of the Spite person or whatever, you'd think that he would have to gather, right? If he was going to go against us. And we do happen to have someone who, I don't know, has eyes in the sky. Why don't we send Angika and her man to possibly go look and see if something seems up?
Is that their celebrity name, Danjika? Dane and Angika?
Yes.
I love
I ship it. But why don't we? We can sit here and conjecture what his potential plans are, but why don't we just look?
I suppose he would have spies in your court. I mean, it would make sense.
Unless, of course, dear brother, you wanted to.
I mean,
Clap your own eyes on it.
I suppose that's indeed possible.
I could fly a broom around, sure. But I would think I would want to keep my eyes towards Sundown Hill.
I feel like no matter which we choose, it's going to be the wrong choice.
Which wrong choice shall we do then?
It's only wrong if you lose.
That's true. I know it's unorthodox, but that's how I am. Let's put it to a vote.
What are
what
we
is-
voting
what
on?
are
What are the
on?
options?
We need
The
the
options. The options
listed.
the options are take out the Green John first, or take out Sundown Hill first.
I vote Sundown Hill.
I vote we leave the Green John alone for now and focus our attention on Sundown Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, my beast's not with this Green John.
I agree, Sir Phineas says. The Green Sean should be left to his own wiles. If we win, he won't come to Stonehold. Right?
Now, if we lose,
It doesn't matter at that point, does it?
no, it doesn't. It's all or nothing, basically.
Sundown Hill it is.
Alright.
Isn't that your best game anyway? All or nothing?
So,
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Excuse me, I'm terribly sorry. Sir James Coventry bumbles into the room. If, I do say, if, to Sundown Hill, wherefore shall we begin our besiegement of the city? He finally spits it out.
Besiegement.
I figured we would, cause some sort of diversion while we talked with Sorsha. Allow us in.
I mean, Sorsha can meet us. If she has any sway left in the city, then she'd swing the gates wide for us. Hopefully it'd be that easy, but if not, we know the side door in, at least.
Tuck looms over the table. I don't think we'll be able to pull that trick off twice in a row.
You're probably right.
Call me cynical.
You're probably right,
Yes,
Tuck.
yes.
I imagine that's so. But we have more than one ways to skin a cat. Right? Broom riding feller here.
You know,
I mean,
even though that's true, there's not that many more. People say it like it's like there's thousands, but I mean, it just
It's a cat. I mean, how many ways can you do it? Chin to groin to chin.
well,
I don't know.
Anyhow, really.
Whichever way, we'll get it done. We always do.
What do we need to do this? Are we doing siege engines? And, I mean, do we need to prepare for a true siege? Or are you really going to have the side gate open for you?
Listen, Chauncey, you're overthinking it. We'll make it happen.
You've heard this talk before.
I have a great
You've
idea.
heard madmen speak this way. You have rushed into their own doom. You served beneath these men before, and these women before, for that matter, Chauncey.
Do you not remember just a week ago in your mountain? It's going to be fine to get this eagle in.
I would like
Here,
to.
I got an idea. We take the best cavalry in the north, which are these elk riders. We light their swords on fire and we charge them right at the enemy.
In the dark.
In the dark. They'll never see it coming.
Yes.
Except for the torches, then they'll definitely see that coming, I think.
Oh, shucks.
That should be first. Before siege weapons.
Yes,
before-
exactly.
yes.
Before
But the episode is so dark, you have no idea what's going on. That's the ironic thing. You still have no idea. It's like
We need to turn up the lights.
even
right now.
even the people who were watching Game of Thrones didn't see what was going on, despite the fact that it was well lit.
This seems like some horrible writing in a really shitty novel at the end when someone didn't care anymore.
Lyndon C. Genevieve's Penny Dreadfuls.
Yes, exactly.
That's the adventurous exploits of Lyndon C. Genevieve the Young.
This doesn't seem to be from the original author. I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
Well, interestingly enough,
You're crossing over canon.
there are many authors as it was dictated.
yes, it's right when you can dictate.
That's right. Why learn to read when you can dictate?
Yeah, that's what you
I read
said.
too.
That's what he said.
That was one of it.
Why read when you can be read to?
That's right.
That was the other
read
one.
too. Yeah. So Lyndon C. Genevieve's stories, of course, enter in all kinds of absurd. Sorry. Yeah, that was hilarious, though. By the way, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Like, that's a Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah.
And you even though they couldn't see it, we couldn't see it either. Yeah. So that aside, the point does stand though, is that you do have the Nameless, who are elk riders. They ride them all throughout the north.
I think that
A horse against walls is futile, though.
yes, if we take a sizable force, then they will react like it's a siege, and I just don't see us performing a siege
Well,
It does sit on a very tall hill,
Well,
Sir Phineas says. And we'd be staring at the sun. And they do call it Sundown Hill for that reason.
yes, I don't think that we would lay siege to them. I think we would potentially wait for them to attack us and then harry them along their way. Why fight on their chosen ground when we can fight on ours?
Because I don't want to live in fear.
Stonehold? Tuck inquires.
That or the week's worth of road between there and here.
The dick?
Somewhere.
This
I
is
mean-
exactly how we lure them out, Sir Phineas inquires.
That would be my first thought.
Half a week from the
Do we-
comfortable stone home.
I'm gonna do one of these because I haven't played long enough. Does everybody here know that we have the Unchained?
Abigail.
Salamander would.
Yeah, Salamander.
Well,
one.
I don't know if they know that we were the ones that freed her, but they know that she got
They
freed
know.
by someone.
But
They
do they
know
know
at this
she's
point.
here? She knows they're part
You
of
can
it.
assume that they know.
Assumed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have what they want. Why don't we just tell them we have what they want?
They
Are you
know.
talking about me? Abigail inquires.
Yeah, do you want to be safe anytime in the future?
Lord Jester over here said I wouldn't be used as a pawn.
I did.
Well, I wasn't part of those discussions. I don't mean to put you out in front of the gate and say, come get this young lass. I meant to say, tell them you're here.
I've read plenty of stories about maidens being put before dragons' caverns to be eaten up to save the village from the evil serpent. I shan't have no part of it. But if it comes to a murdering I can do.
Oh, you're gonna have to explain what the hell that means.
She's good with the bow.
If she needs to fight, she'll fight.
Outwitted all these fools I did.
What I'm trying to say is, again, we don't put her out in this. We don't put her in the front of the gate and say, "Come get her." We tell them she's here
They
behind
know.
the wall.
They know. They have to know. We sprung her from Sundown Hill, the dungeons.
So how would we get them to come after her? Perhaps a weakness would be exposed to them.
Yeah. Do they have a spy in your court?
Of course not, Sir Phineas says. There are only but a few of us.
Perhaps Otrig knows a thing or two about what's going on with Salamandra.
I don't think he's yes, Dr. James Coventry goes on until he finally spits it out. He won't is not able to speak for now at least.
So how long is this recovery's going to take?
I could not say for now. He has been he is transfixed between worlds.
Have I tried any of my magics on him yet?
Yeah, they have failed.
Okay.
This seems to be something related, from what you would intuit at least, it'd be something related to the land itself.
Okay.
Crossing over the river.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like,
He's been punished.
We've been punishing Kay.
yeah. Okay, so it's not like an affliction because I can help with
Come
that.
on, you gotta give me that one.
I'm already at 6. I don't.
Okay.
I only have 5 fingers. I got,
But I do have a middle finger.
that one's reserved.
Yeah, that's when you hit that's when the final nerve is.
So, yes. I mean, sure, there's got to be some way to say that we have her, yet
Well,
maybe we say the Grosters are gone
is it the
because
best?
Otrig's dead.
Is it the best idea to let them prepare and then come to us to potentially take the thing they want if this person's fight is supposed to be more than 9? Right. Is
Kagan's
that the
got the-
best idea?
Kagan's got the right of it, Tuck says. It's very evident that even amongst your own court they are divided.
Perhaps we're overthinking it. I mean, what does your heart say?
My heart always says, attack and kill them.
Well, then perhaps we should follow your heart.
Head in straight to Sundown Hill, guns a-blazing.
Yes.
Well, if we're going to be fair, we do have what they kind of assume is the boogeyman of up here, right? That's part of our ranks. They don't really like our men on elk. It is possible that could potentially work in our favor. Play into it.
Broken morale, to Keegan's point, Sir Phineas says. Send all of our nameless out.
Hard to fight if you're shitting your pants. Just saying.
Why are they afraid of the elk riders?
Legends, lore, things like that. They're different, you know.
Challenger,
That sort of
Credence's done spent years winding up tales about faceless riders riding on the back of elk throughout all the north, Vernon says.
Oh, so I do know this. Okay.
Yeah, well, no, probably not well.
Okay.
You weren't among their ranks, actually.
Okay.
You've forgotten where you're at, if you recall.
Yeah, that's right.
These are the things of nightmares and terrors they tell their children will come take them in the night if they don't behave. So, what if we act as if they haven't behaved?
What happens when we get to the walls of sundown? Not like they're just gonna lock up the gates and be fuck off, Vernon says.
If they don't have time. And if they don't have a lead of the guard that is there to organize it.
You know the lead of the guard? Yes?
We do.
Not much for planning, but it just seems to me use what you have, right?
Neither is your lord, Sir Phineas says. But I have kept the seat warm while you were away, Sir Phineas assures you.
Quite warm.
Mm-hmm.
There's an imprint.
Most uncomfortable, this seat, let me tell you.
Heavy is the crown, so they say.
You don't wear a crown, my lord.
The jester hat, then. Whatever.
Yeah. The bells do jangle, as they say.
I do love a joke at my own expense.
Oh, we're closer to a decision.
So should we maybe do exactly what Keegan has said here? Why don't we just see what's going on at both places?
No. There's too much. There's too much going on here. Let's just keep it simple.
Do you believe you're fated to win no matter what, or
Everything has gone thus far.
yes? So, how do we open the gates with your mystique?
He'll wear his finest japeries. I mean, frippery. I mean, the kills that you wear on your shoulders they will simply open the gates for you, Sir Phineas says.
Seriously, though, what is your solution for walls and gates?
I don't have one. We'll see when we get there. Things will be different. We do know the captain of the guard. She'll run interference in some way, at least.
You knew the captain of the guard. Is she still the captain of the guard, or is she dead because she let you in already?
We actually haven't heard anything
Haven't heard from her.
from anyone in
Vernon says.
from Sundown Hill.
I mean, this would just be if somebody let you into my castle and I knew later, I would just kill them. I mean, hang them from my walls, and then when you showed back up, I'd be like, look, you can come in this time. I mean, I'm just...
Well, we just don't know. We just don't know. That's the thing. We don't know.
So it seems to me like you're dead set on not deciding on anything until we get there, and yet we can't make a decision on whether or not we're going to go there. So can we at least make a decision?
Yes, the decision is we're going to Sundown Hill. We've made that decision already.
Okay, so
It was 10 minutes ago.
Why are we still discussing?
I don't know why
something?
we're dithering around.
Yeah, we're still discussing something that's already been decided.
Exactly.
So who shall go, my lord? Shall I blow the war horns and summon the citizens of Stonehold to pick up spear and icicle and hurl them parent at the walls of Sundown Hill?
Oh, come now. The weather's not that cold yet.
Give it time. We're in autumn. It'll become cold very quickly.
Yes, maybe we don't want to plan everything, but we should at least possibly take food and supplies for whoever we're taking. I would like to get those numbers together. So.
And perhaps the Nameless can start encircling the settlement.
You can't surround Sundown Hill. It's got one damn road that winds its way up the top of the bluff, Vernon says. Y'all know that?
Yes, but
So again, as I stated, maybe we should scout. This is simple, basic military tactics.
That's what I'm trying to say. We need more information. Yes, we can scout Sundown Hill.
Imagine a big old gargoyle sitting on the side of a hill. Imagine a gargoyle sitting on the side of a big old damn hill, and you're walking up to it, and the light's right in your eye because the sun sets in the west. That's Sundown Hill.
So you come in the morning.
You're still going to see us coming, even beneath the fog of Cauldron Lake. If we're many.
well then,
If we're few, it's a different story.
yes, we shall be few and we shall scout.
There you have it.
And we shall scout, or
I mean, I suppose I could do it, but you know, I would miss your meals quite intensely.
right. So then, who shall scout?
No, I can, and perhaps, brother, you can give us an eye in the sky.
Yeah.
So those who went to the bridge should go. You want to add some your elk riders, your demons of the night.
Plan to, Vernon says. We got plenty. It's a matter of how many we want to take. We got 100 fighting strong on Elkback. By my count, you got about 15 fighting folk in this entire settlement. 15.
Well, I can, definitely scout using a broom. That should be easy enough to do. Wouldn't mind going south and getting those witch hazel branches. I think those could be handy.
Let's get the lay of the land up north, Sundown Hill. Once we get some more information, we can figure out what to do.
Yes, but I believe he was wanting to just get some witch hazel before we did any of that.
You can always fly down and fly back. Maybe.
What do you need it for?
Well, remember how we found them? Does that point towards Vernon?
Yeah, we know salamanders at Sundown Hill. What do you need it for?
Well, it's always a good way to kind of make sure people are staying where we want them to stay. So, if we go to Sundown Hill, and I use that to take a look at where the Green John is, and it ain't pointing towards Gralstead, but it's pointing towards Stonehold, well, then we know we're fucked.
Well, if we knew by then, we'd be fucked anyway.
Well,
What difference does it make? You go in, you go all in.
How much time do we have? Sir Phineas inquires.
Exactly. You know, if we knew he was coming towards Stonehold, we're already too late.
Probably could fly south and meet you up north faster than you could walk with your army.
Well, then, yes. I think that's...
He's a fair point, Tuck says.
I move much faster on my broom than you can on your feet.
All right, then let's do it. Have at it. Get your witch hazel. Meet us up north.
I know the path you're going. I'll find you.
So how many
You're really
nameless
flying,
riders
Yeah.
are we bringing?
This is a very matter-of-factly.
Well,
I killed one of the witches, and then I took their book.
I
learned
think
their
I
spell.
think the thing is here.
See, I'm not really trained in these.
Once we get to Sundown Hill,
Proper way?
we scout it out.
Kind of just
We'll know whether this is a siege or an infiltration
figure it out.
mission, right?
Oh yeah, I'm hedgewise.
So we bring them all. They just stay behind. They don't get too close until we figure out what we're going to do next.
So if it's going to be an infiltration, then we send him back to Stonehold.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be a siege, then we'll have them.
I vote we all go. Just us, Abigail says. Keep it small, especially if we have to infiltrate.
How far is this place?
3 days, Abigail says. Give or take.
That's what I'm saying. The nameless stay a day or so behind us. Once we scout it out, figure out if it's going to be an infiltration type of thing, we let them know, right?
Sure.
And
So 100 elk riders in a day behind us is what you're saying. And who shall protect Stonehold? We have 15 strong, as Vernon did say. We can certainly hold Stonehold while you're away, my lord.
all right, do it.
Will you be able to get back
May
in?
not. Shall be fit as a fiddle when upon your return.
As always.
Damn it, those dirty eyes.
I've had 2 more. So, if all of you are going to gather supplies and food and make your way to Sundown Hill 3 to 4 days to the north, and you're going to go south to the Rukenval to find Yewood, you'll be able to collect, we'll say after you supply, I'll say with the time that it requires to supply and make preparations is, much to perhaps Osbern's chagrin, some preparations do happen. And we'll say it's probably a week until you resume back in the north. At a very high level, is there anything you feel you need to do before you go? Because we're going to pick up right at Cauldron Lake otherwise.
I need to check in on Charlotte.
You're bringing Charlotte with you.
Oh, okay.
This huge woman who looks like she's carved of wood herself with strange leaves growing along her elbows and such. You may use the Dryad stat block out of threats.
Brother, you can't leave her behind.
7.
That's good. You can't leave her behind.
I mean,
Oh boy.
what would she do?
8.
I don't know.
Take root?
Whatever she would do, I would hear through the grapevine.
Yes.
10.
I'm so sorry, Kay, that you have to play with. I'm so sorry. We can all point our fingers though at Nick because he is the originator of the puns, and then there used to be a collective groaning, and now everyone just does it except for Kay.
Yeah.
Kay's like,
It's like Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, I'm not Stockholming. You know what? 15 years of it, and I have
don't-
not gotten into
I applaud
Stockholm.
you.
All right,
I still do it. I don't sing. I don't do the singing. I don't.
I'll do the song
I
right.
used to do the singing, but that's the problem.
Yeah, I'll do that
We
one.
used to, usually it's either Nick, it's either Tim, Mike, or I who are doing the singing.
Yeah. It used to always be doing the
Yeah.
singing.
It's the singing. I love it.
But yeah, you totally see my character fly off on a broom.
Very,
It's,
very nifty.
it's the I'm sorry. It is the it's the stats for the Sasquatch.
Okay.
Sasquatch? Nice.
Do you need one for the eagle as well to keep on hand?
And the bear, if you don't need those pages.
I can absolutely give them to you. They're right here. Rock flag and eagle, or Sasquatch bear and eagle. Is an old tamer after all.
Man, bear pig.
Man, bear, pig. Half shark, half gator, half man. Looking for the bear. Black bear, brown bear. Black bear, right?
I can't take it.
Yeah, I thought there was only one
I've
type
been
of
like,
bear.
it's like
Brown bear.
30 minutes.
Yeah, it's black bear. Black bear.
Yeah, bringing the whole box would definitely be an idea.
What you need to do is measure out some and just put them in a Ziploc bag and bring those every week.
It
like a
would
brown
never
paper bag.
work because Tim would eat them before we start playing. Actually, Tim
No.
and I would eat.
No. I'm saying he keeps them in his house. That every week he brings in just a supply.
Use your
Let's get a
allotment.
quota.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
rations.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, you ration it out.
rations.
It's actually probably smart. to be completely transparent here, it's actually probably a smart thing to do.
Which
Just
is
use
like
this
a-
bag and just fill it up.
How many's in a bag?
A lot.
Too many.
I think around 30 to 50 or something.
Well, how many did you eat tonight? And then we'll tell you.
I'd say count the wrappers, but you already got rid of the evidence.
72 per bag. About
I got rid of Nick's
Oh,
too,
boy.
so
How many? What? 4? 5? Maybe?
There's 12 servings bagged in 6 pieces per serving.
No, I'm saying how many did you have?
I don't know, maybe 5 or 6.
He pleads the 5th.
So,
I'm piled between the two of us.
with that,
Mostly yours.
with that being said,
89.
we don't want to roll a bunch of dice for spell casting, I think. But because the U-Wood is important, I think it's probably important for us to roll a survival test.
Sure.
To see if you can find it. I'd say probably a routine survival test.
Okay. So it'll be a 66, and I rolled a 30. Success.
You would.
You would. Oh god, you would. So you find
I've been pining for this.
you. So you will find your wood,
Yeah.
or you would.
Wouldn't you know?
Yeah. So you would, of course, is it's a very unique species of tree that it's oftentimes called the tree of death, because if you've ever seen them, whenever they touch ground, they kind of form new roots. Like there's one of those. If you've ever seen those, yeah. So finding a yew-wood tree is difficult, but you find one, and you find the perfect splinter of yew-wood to hold. That because you need the one that's shaped like a dowsing rod.
Right.
So you'll find one that's shaped like a dowsing rod.
Great.
Yep. So you've got one yew-wood.
Sweet. Hopefully I don't crit fail that roll again.
We will take a quick pause for our listeners and viewers. We'll be just back in like literally 2 seconds. So be right back. That's recording. And okay, I think we're recording now. Yeah. So if you're watching this or listening to this, we just had like a "Are we still recording?" moment because OBS is a new interface. Because apparently we hadn't updated it in years, as is ought to happen sometimes. So. That's why
I don't see the little button.
Oh, it's got a little red. It's got a little red dot down at the bottom, right? Yeah. I'm.
Why would they make it smaller?
Yeah,
It was already kind of small anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
They just need to
Now
have
you're
like-
not small, Tim. You can see all of it. That was like a Beastie Boys film, like Fishbowl Lens and Brass Monkey. So we pick back up. And if this is some number of days later, we pick back up on a foggy autumn day up on the edge of this mist-laden lake. The sounds of Cauldron Lake can be heard all around you. There is the water is still and brown. The trees have lost most of their leaves at this point. And the forest that surrounds this place that you had seen before is just is covered in dense fog. The sounds of the crows that roost everywhere around here can be heard. Maybe triggering a few of you who had that really bad reaction in the north when you found before you found Johnsy, the crow master.
Remember you can't be attacked by birds?
Yeah. I'm fine.
He's got the cloak that no bird attacks.
My trophy.
That's right, his trophy. It says on the back, "No bird attacks, please." It's a magic item. You took it from the Crowmaster, and there are weird zombies there were a bunch of there's a bunch of crows inside the skin. Yeah, it was creepy. So yeah, you hear the crows around the lake, around Cauldron Lake. So named because there's a perpetual mist that lingers on it, and if you're looking at it from a distance, it would look like a boiling cauldron. But overlooking the lake, and this is probably about maybe a mile out or so, you can see a gray shadow against the sky. And that's where the settlement or castle hold of the Earl is of Sundown Hill. No sun to be seen today beyond the clouds, but it is a little chilly, a little cold. You can hear the frogs leaping this way and that in the water. It is all of you, and you've just now been joined by Calvin. I'm sorry, there's so many C names. Calvin, Chauncey, Collinsworth, Keegan. They're all like the same phonetically.
Yeah.
And then Osberg.
You mean clumsy?
Clumsy. Clumsy. Oh, man. All of you have phonetic C names, yeah.
Yeah.
So Collinsworth, Clumsy, Chauncey, Calvin, Keegan.
Keaton's with a K though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, but it's the phonetic
Actually-
sound.
But it's the phonetic
Okay, so
sound,
I'm just gonna point out something that I just noticed, and this is the funniest shit ever. All of me and my brothers are actually with the same "k" noise at the beginning of our names. Craig, Corey, Kurt, Kayla. So this is just strange when I
Yeah.
think about it. And all of them start with a C, and I start with a K.
Huh.
What the hell just happened here?
Uh,
That's
something
weird.
deep seated in your psyche around that.
Apparently.
What was your last character's name? Was Eliza.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So no K's there.
Mm-mm.
Well, if our next game, we'll have to have different. Everybody's gonna have a different phonetic name because this is the. And seriously, this has been the primary challenge for me. Not only just because we're playing remote, but I'm like, who is which C name? We will change it next game. We're totally gonna make that
No
choice.
C
It'll be
names.
D letters.
Well,
that way it's
that's
like
right.
down the alphabet.
Well, everybody has a different name and letter of the alphabet, but it's easier in person.
Or we could
though.
all end in like ton or something.
Yeah.
Like the ending is the exact same.
Squirrelton.
Oh god.
Joey Squirrelton. That's my next character.
So we pick back up as the camera kind of pans down and kind of zooms in where you all are kind of the edge of the lake, and you're obscured in the forest. You actually pass through this kind of thicket of wood that led you beyond this abandoned homestead that you stayed in that night that is known to them. It's called the I can't recall what you called it, but this
cabin?
is the cabin. Yeah, the cabin in the woods. You stayed in the cabin overnight.
Good movie.
It is. That had been previously occupied by the man you thought was the shapeshifter.
Caliban.
Caliban, that's right. Caliban's cabin.
Calvin, you did that one yourself.
Is in their seat. God damn it.
That's on you.
That's on you. Obviously, Vernon and the Nameless are a day behind you, and should you need them, you'll need to go get them because they're camped out a day behind you, more or less. So they're somewhere between here and in Sundown Hill, but the Nameless know the ways of the wood, so they can go where they will. But that large of a host will be impossible not to track because it's 100 elk, elk riders. 100,
As Vernon would say.
period T, Period. Period. So you're gathered here. Obviously, you're obscured in the foliage. You are hunkering down, kind of assaying the situation. You've been joined by Calvin, who just came here an hour ago. He's a bit tuckered out, but you're all awake. Upon your arrival, let's see how you arrive.
Yeah.
So everyone, on your arrival check, you can either roll toughness or survival, and naturally, Osbert does not have to roll this, and this is going to be challenging.
69.
92. 94. Nope. He's going to wow, trash, because I'm from...
I'm a little tuckered out. There's no in-flight meal. The entertainment was terrible. I mean, they didn't even bring me a drink.
I think mine was worse.
Oh, no.
Oh, I
Did
mean,
you
I only
crit
got a
fail?
94.
Oh, my God!
I haven't rolled these dice in a year, and they're mad at me.
Zero
That's
zeros! You
100.
should roll the 100!
Guys.
That's a 100.
Oh, God!
Like I said, my dice are mad at me.
Oh, man.
I've been using these.
That is an odd.
So, so for those who failed, you arrive at imperiled. For those who critically failed, you arrive at ignore 2 skill ranks on arrival.
Ooh.
So it's rough getting here for some folks. By the time you arrive, because we use the fast travel rules from Flames of Freedom.
Hey.
I don't look at the camera to do that. I was going over the camera, but I'm looking. When I want to look at the camera now, I just look at Tim's eyes.
Look at Tim's eyes.
That's right. Because it's aligned, like the camera's like literally at like forehead level. Yeah. This is really weird playing in person, by the way. Again,
I know. Right?
This is so weird. I don't know if you felt that way, but it's really weird.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt kind of nice.
It's nice, but it's weird.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking at a computer screen to see what you guys are doing. I'm actually like
I can actually read people's
Just gonna look,
faces.
yeah.
and
I
don't
heard a
have to-
side conversation. I was like,
yeah.
oh my god, it's like old times. This is so cool. So, that being said, you do arrive at Cauldron Lake after much to do. Ready to do what you came here to do. So, naturally, Collinsworth has brought his cadre of beasts and other misshapen creatures in his wake. One, which is a large shambling black bear. Another is like a
large shambling.
large a what looks like a woman, but is some strange humanoid creature that lumbers like a tree, covered in leaves and broken bits of bark, long and limber, and could easily be mistaken for a tree in the woods. And then soaring overhead is the snow-capped eagle that's circling somewhere, maybe settles in a tree, and you see a bough of one of the leafless trees kind of bend over. So yes, you all are there.
Well, looks like I made good time and you made good time.
Yes.
How far from this cabin is sundown?
Less than a day, if I recall right.
So, if its name is correct, should we try to make it there in the morning?
So to be clear, you stayed the evening at the Caliban's abandoned cabin, and now you've arrived.
Oh, at Cauldron Lake.
Yes, at Cauldron
Okay.
Lake proper. Like you're looking about a mile out, you can see across the lake, beyond the fog, beyond the dense foliage. You can see a massive gray bluff hidden beyond the mist, where you know Sundown Hill is.
Okay.
You just can't see the walls of the castle keep itself. But you know that if you were to follow along the edge of Cauldron Lake and rejoin the main road, you would find your way there.
Well,
I suppose we should take a look.
we can take a look.
I know you just got back, but
Well, my butt's getting used to it. Saddle sores and all.
broom
No,
swords.
no splinters.
Yeah, no splinters.
You know,
Is
that,
it morning?
It's about midday.
that hill is almost like a small mountain. I could always send the bear over the mountain to see what he could see.
Not a pun. Not a
Not
pun.
If
a
only you
It's
could
a
fly like
song.
an eagle.
It's a
It's a
song.
song.
It's a song.
The bear, and the lady fair.
Of course, you know, my brother and Susie could fly like an eagle.
To the lake. That'd be on.
Yeah, instead of the sea. But,
So do we want to try and send this? What can you do with this eagle? Can you see through its eyes, or something fanciful, or
I have been.
did you almost
hoping
die to just get an eagle?
Oh, I mean, not just get an eagle. I mean,
It's an eagle.
yeah.
Snow-crowned eagle.
Susie, come on down.
Does the animal tamer have some sort of supernatural
No.
communication?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm
I don't
simply-
know though,
I'm
right?
simply issuing a command. Yeah.
Yeah. You see this. You see the brown wings extend of the massive snow-crested eagle, kind of. Its feathers kind of falling like almost like a great mantle of feathers and whatnot, and kind of rises nobly behind it as its head kind of cocks around. This huge, massive, like yellow eagle beak. Like, and if you've seen those eagles, are fucking huge. American eagle.
I take out some sort of treat, which is probably like this big.
Here's my arm. No, you give it some sort of treat.
Yeah. You know, I was hoping at some point I could learn a bit further from Anjika on how to do such a thing as see through their eyes, but no, it's not something that I can do. However,
I did offer to teach you how to fly on a broom.
no, I would like to learn at some point, but we haven't, and I was simply saying that Susie could go with you.
Yeah. Well,
And that way you wouldn't be all by yourself.
Are you gonna go over there by yourself?
well, the key is to stay out of arrow range.
Oh, okay.
There's the other eagle too, right?
If Anjika wanted to do such a thing, but you would have to talk with her.
Anjika's not here,
Right.
nor is Dane, only Abigail.
Oh, okay.
You
Right.
brought it.
Cool.
Oh, we brought the Unchained with us, even though her crazy protest that we were gonna try and use her.
She wanted to fight.
That's right.
So,
Fucking no logic to that at all.
so what exactly would you want me to try to discover?
Well, for one, if they look like they're ready for us coming, because even though we are...
Abigail's down here.
Do what? I mean, just to see what we can see.
See if you can spot sourcing it in there. See what if they're prepping for a siege or whatnot, or if it just looks hunky dory and peaceful.
Okay.
Go in and open the door for us.
If you can manage it, I mean.
I mean, okay. So I'll just go and get like the 10,000 foot view of the city. Is that the plan?
I can't breathe.
So your intention is to reconnoiter the Sundown Hill?
I guess. Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and cast your spell. It's going to be challenging. Unless you want to risk some backlash here.
Well, it is fall, and it is one of my seasons of power, so
Oh, nice.
I do get to reduce the amount of D6s.
Elementalist.
I can't. I think
You want to risk backlash for 1, 2, or 3 steps?
I get back to. Because I know I had it on. Yeah, I think spring was my 2, and then fall was my 1. So, yeah, we'll risk some backlash. We'll do because you said you always have to roll 1, or can I be down to 0?
I don't understand.
So-
I'm sorry.
So if I risk backlash for 1 step, I roll usually 1 dice. But with my elementalist during the fall, I remove that device and then I ideally roll none. But I think before you had mentioned that
It's like a minimum of 1, so you need
Okay.
to still risk backlash for 2.
So I would do 2 then, drop 1,
Yeah.
and then only
Yeah.
roll 1. So let's do
risk
that.
backlash. So 2 steps. Okay, so it's 2 conflict, obviously, and then just roll one chaos die with your die roll for now standard.
Alright. And now I have a 76. And I rolled an 18, and that's a 1. And when I don't roll a chaos or a 6, I don't take any corruption.
Nice. So no corruption for you tonight. That's good.
Yes.
All right. So if you seem like Harry Potter, like the broom just kind of and he
Up.
steps on.
Up.
You flies up over the water. You see like the water parting underneath him. As his feet are dashing across the water, and you take off into the air as the mist parts for you. For a moment, you can't see anything. And you're kind of sailing up toward the.
Ready on the Transbasher 2000.
That's right. And you begin riding up toward this castle keep.
It's like the beginning of the 5th Harry Potter movie where they're like
gonna-
flying through London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't help but let out a cackle.
I'm gonna have Susie Durkins not stay really close by, but
Okay.
within eyesight, so that if
Yeah.
something bad happens to him, she can
Okay.
help out.
Scream! The eagle. What's out of curiosity? What's the flight of an eagle?
Eagles,
Fly
To the
like
sea.
an eagle.
15.
Nice. What's your flight?
Flight, I believe, I think it's 9 plus agility bonus.
Nice. Which is?
Could be 14.
Not
Okay.
quite as fast as the eagle. Pretty dang
Eagle's
fast.
just a little faster.
Yeah, I think because it's more, it's definitely
Yeah,
faster.
so you sail upward.
The eagle should be faster.
The eagle should be
Yeah.
Gotta go with that.
And you're not among the clouds, but you're a pretty low altitude. You couldn't breathe that high up. You'd feel the
Right, right,
ether
right.
leaving your lungs.
Yeah, no.
But you're kind of like hovering from one along the edge, and you notice something that there are fires coming from inside of Sundown Hill beyond the stone walls, and it looks like they are preparing for something. The gates are wide open, and you see that there is a group of riders among them outside the gates, a group of about 5, perhaps a delegation of people, you're not sure.
I don't see any banners or anything like that that might identify them. Because I may not know what they are, but I can always describe them to the others.
Yeah, you see that you don't recognize. Well, actually, you may. Go ahead and roll a hard scrutinize test.
Alright.
See if you remember or if you know.
Let's do 36, and I rolled a 19. Success.
Nice. You see the banners of old Gralstead.
So that mean the Green John?
You want to take a closer look?
You said there's 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The gates are wide open.
You want to take a closer look?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll a stealth test. This is going to be secret.
Alright. It's a secret stealth chest. I don't have any ranks in it. It's only a 48. And I rolled a 16. I'll take it.
Okay, what's your chance? I'm sorry again.
48.
Okay.
I rolled a 16.
Okay. You want to keep it?
Yes, please.
Okay. You.
Can't fit over.
Not necessarily. Because he may have to flip to fail, but he wouldn't know. And you may not actually have a chance to succeed at all. That's the thing about secret tests. You don't really know unless you crit succeed or crit failure. Yeah, that's why they're secret.
I just think I'm sneaky
Yeah.
all the time.
So you begin to descend down upon the end of your broom. You don't cackle, you hold your breath. As you descend downward and you look toward the delegation, you can see a few people disembark from their, or get off their horses. One person has this very long, voluminous, kind of black off gray cape and this huge, broad black hat. It has this snarl across his face. Beside him is a very proud-looking fellow with a torque around his neck, who is wearing a set of splintered mail. Without a doubt, that is the Green John. And then at his side, you see that there are riflemen, a riflewoman, and rifleman. And you seem to recall seeing them in the company of the Green John before. But the man in the broad hat must be Ulysses Coventry. He must be. And they meet another collection of people at the gates, but you can't quite make out where they're at because they're actually inside the gate unless you reposition yourself.
I'm okay for right now.
Okay.
If I feel like I'm kind of sneaky enough, I'll just kind of see what I can see or see how it plays out.
You kind of lower yourself a little bit more, trying to get a look at what's happening. It's kind of hard to make out what's happening unless you actively move to the other side of the gates here in the air to see who's on the other side joining with the Green John. They seem to be conversing beneath the large stone barbican, which is the arched area beneath the twin gates of Sundown Hill. You would guess it would be Sorsha O'Banner or the captain of the guard, but you can't be for sure unless you actually move down that way.
Alright, let's do it.
Okay. So
Dave wants you to do
you feel the wind in your hair as you're kind of like moving among the mist.
Uh-huh.
Kind of looking down. It's gray and overcast. Roll a secret stealth test.
Alright, again, a 48. I rolled a... Oh, that was an 05. It was about to be a 65, but it was an 05. I'll take it.
Okay. You move over just slightly and you see the captain of the guard.
Okay. So Sorsha's still there.
It is now Sorsha O'Bannon.
Oh, captain of the guard. That's
There is a grim sight when you come to the walls, as you can see a series of soldiers who have been hung by the neck from the gibbets in the middle of along the edge of the gates. Flies and birds buzz all around them. You can only guess that among them must be Sorsha O'Bannon, unless somehow she escaped. But the captain of the guard that is there is some man who's missing an eye. You do not but he's wearing the same garb that she was when you were there.
That's why I didn't see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flipped failed perception.
Flew on his bad side.
His blind side.
You're on his blind side.
You blindsided him.
Yeah. All right.
Among the delegation, you see this woman wearing this long blue and green gown with this striking silver hair braided on either side, with this huge hood kind of settled beneath of her neck. It's one of the three sisters. I think, at least.
Maybe a new replacement is what I'm thinking to myself. She probably took on new apprentices.
Apprentices? Is that plural?
Apprentici?
Apprentici? What's that? It's the day all the sea opera die. It's not. But you want to continue just lingering, watching?
Yeah, I'll see if they're let in, but I'm not going to try to get any closer. Kind of now that I've identified myself, I'm going to probably back up a little bit.
Okay.
Because now I'm just seeing if they're going to be welcome or rebuted, is basically what I'm trying to figure out.
The entourage that came with the Green John are welcomed inside. They begin walking through the yards, completely ignorant to the fact that you were standing over all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do anything?
Probably keep distance and just... I mean, I assume they're going to go into the castle.
You don't want to cast a spell?
I mean, I'm
No.
really tempted to nuke them from above, but I'm not Osbert, so... I mean, because I have this brand new greater spell that I kind of really want to use, but I'm also on a flying broom, and I don't want to fall off that.
The concentration factor there. Falling
Yeah.
off the broom that far.
Right.
Probably not a good idea.
So,
You've seen Eon Flux. You know that whole...
I don't want to solo the whole event, okay, guys?
So, what will you do?
um,
They're walking through the streets of Sundown Hill, clearly heading toward the main castle keep.
okay. I want to try to get a better look at these fires, or the kind of... are they like... Does it seem like blacksmiths are running at full steam? Is it like...
Yeah, so as you kind of leave kind of where you can see them immediately, and you kind of edge around the walls in the air. Just out of curiosity, how long does your spell last?
hours?
Okay.
It's like 4... It's...
Oh, you're good then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a number of hours equal to my like willpower.
Yeah, we'll assume
bonus.
it's like maybe a half hour at best. You can have move your broom around a little bit through the air, and you can see that the blacksmiths are striking iron. They were busy.
Alright.
They're not preparing for a siege by any means. You don't see a bunch of horse gathered in the yards, but it's clear that there is something going on here. Like they're preparing for something.
I'm curious because we had heard that Spike came here. I'm trying to figure out if he came here with people, where's his encampment?
It's a good question. You'd have to explore around Cauldron Lake. Remember, Cauldron Lake is massive, and most of it is concealed beneath trees. If you from here, as you look down toward Cauldron Lake, it is this gray morass that stretches perhaps a mile or so out, winding this way and that, covered in dense fog, and then meeting the fog on the edge of Cauldron Lake is this thick foliage of the forest. You would not be able to reconnoiter very easily from the air. You would guess that they're likely smart enough not to burn fires. Unless you would have saw them already, or
Yeah.
smelled them.
That's what I was thinking, is I could fly around and smell or look for the smoke, but if they're smart enough not to burn fires, I mean, they're from the north, they probably think this is nice weather, you know?
Fair point.
It's like, I think I had like friends who went to Florida in the middle of winter and then went swimming, and people were like, "Why are you doing that in Florida?" And they're like, "What are you talking about? It's great weather." Anyway, yeah. So, okay.
Will you return to the others, or will you?
Yeah, I'll return to the others for now to report
Okay.
kind of what I've seen.
So he comes back about let's call it an hour, just to call it an hour. Why not? You all are kind of positioned on the side of Cauldron Lake, and you see the mist kind of swirl upward as he descends down from the sky, and he kind of, much like Harry Potter, they kind of like they disembark off their broom, and he starts walking and kind of grabs the stick. It just seems to move up on its own accord and perfectly parallel to him. And the thing is hovering beside him as he stops and crosses his arms and discloses what he's seen.
3 guesses as to who was at the gates of Sundown Hills.
Spite.
Spite?
No.
This the other warlock that we're hunting? Girl warlock? What's her name?
No.
Damn it.
But
Amanda.
I do believe it might have been one of her assistants. I don't think it was her. But I do think that she has gathered new assistants.
Ugh.
And the Green John. As well as, I believe his name was
Delivered to us on a platter.
Ulysses Coventry. I think that's his name.
Chauncey, this name you know. You know Ulysses quite well, in fact. You spent some time in the north in Stonehold with him.
Ulysses is with the Green John?
Yes, he's been, as long as we know.
Yes, I do recall hearing about him, but wasn't he... Didn't he not say anything because... Well, he couldn't.
I believe that was the idea, as his tongue was cut out. But yeah, I mean, black and gray cape, big hat, yeah, grizzled look. Oh, and there were a bunch of people hanging from the parapets, and I'm gonna guess Sorsha was probably one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what makes you say that?
I think they were wearing guard uniforms, or there was a new captain of the guard at least. He was missing an eye. I don't know if that matters, but I think I positioned myself in this blind spot. So
If she were smart, she would have escaped the city, so who knows where she is by now.
I don't know. She was a rather important person, if I remember correctly. She had a lot of friends,
Mm-hmm.
but she was also working against Salamandra, so her plot may have been discovered.
Well, hopefully she did escape. I mean, let's hope for the best and hope that she will be able to find her.
I would suggest scouting the woods, but Spite's people might be around. Didn't see any fires, so they're not fool enough to light those.
They left the gate open?
Well, usually they do leave the gate open during the day. It's always been their MO. They're always accepting trades and tradesmen.
The gate is open, Abigail says.
Should we go up acting as tradesmen?
Armed as soldiers and the like as we are, Abigail says.
Uh,
I'm not going to pass off for a tradesman.
Isn't everybody armed like that up here? I say from a very uneducated. It sounds completely terrible that I said that.
Only a fool would travel the roads without some sort of armament at their side. A bow, sword, a fool's weapon. In truth, wolves like to tear you apart before you can even get it drawn. She kind of taps on her self bow. You'd stand out. I wouldn't. You that big damn sword on your back. Fearsome as you may be, she says. You notice that she's dressed head to toe in black Dawnthorn steel armor.
Right.
Full plate. Save for her head.
Well, I'll take your wolf on with my sword. But
6 is pushing it. 5?
Yeah.
Good. 6 is pushing it.
I got 5.
It would give him pause.
6.
Actually,
Wolf
6 is fine.
So,
What say ye? What do we do?
What's the plan? This is your...
That's true. Yes.
100 elk riders at the south of us. The gates are open in the midst of the day. They'd see us coming. Some of us will get in at least. Not before half the host be feathered with arrows from the gates.
What about the fires?
oh, so I believe, mostly blacksmiths. I think they're working towards something, but I don't know what. It's hard to say if it was just normal work or military in matter, but I'm not trained on such warfare.
So what do you think? Should we head in now? Wait for the nameless?
Are you talking to me?
We have
Anyone
to,
who will listen.
we
No,
have
you're
to
right.
fetch them regardless. They don't know to come.
They don't know to come or stop. You're gonna have to. Your plan is pretty set.
Yeah?
You need to make a decision if we storm or we sneak in.
Whatever you do, I'll still have to go back and let them know.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your command is, I shall let the nameless know. Abigail crosses her arms. She will wait for you all to deliberate.
You think any direction's better than the other? I don't have a mind for this sort of warfare thing. Actually, I do. I have a rank in warfare now.
And the gate's down. How many men are in there?
How many archers are on the walls?
Well, at least none that spotted me, so... But 100 horses is a lot easier to see than one man flying on a broom. They're looking down towards the road, not up in the air.
If only we could all fly.
If only you could all fly!
That's what I'm trying to tell
Trying
you!
to tell you!
I think if we
Above board, by the way, anybody can learn spells in Flames of Freedom.
Right.
It
Yeah.
costs
A lot.
a lot, and you end up sacrificing parts of your primary attributes
Right,
permanently.
Yeah, it's not a great idea.
3% for every single one
Wow.
per tier spell, so greater 9% from every primary attribute and reward points. But,
Yeah.
you know who's counting.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
Well, what's fly? Minor or broomstick? Or
Lesser. It's a intermediate tier spell,
I believe
take you
that.
6
yeah,
off every chunk.
and you still have to have weeks
Plus-
to learn.
plus 200 reward points.
Well, and then if you
Awesome.
wanted, you'd probably have to learn like incantation. So that's unless you
They
want
have
to
a
flip
chance.
a fail to roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all
so
kinds
probably not a good
Well,
idea.
what you guys
Sounds
should have
like
done with your advanced tiers is picked a spell casting
Shoulda, woulda, could. No.
profession. We could all been spellcasters.
You'll all be pyromancers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you just fireball everything.
Everybody picks pyromancer, and then you have like 4 of the greater spells covered.
Yeah. We just drop meteors on them. It'll be fine.
of.
Sorry, total aside. I didn't mean to interrupt, Nick. I just wanted to make a quick joke.
So
So-
I think
So if the gate's down, and
Up.
Up.
the gate's up, and we can get in,
so I say
and,
we
and the numbers are limited.
if
It's
we
up to
go
you.
in, or we can have the nameless come. We'll go in and take care of any archers that would endanger them, and then make sure that the gate stays up.
How much weight can you carry on that broom?
I mean, just my own.
Oh
I
damn!
wouldn't really be able to carry like a powder keg or anything with me.
So if you're going
was
to
meaning
go-
me.
So if you're going into the gates, we need to coordinate it.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to do this? Coordinate them with timing with the elk riders, with the nameless.
Especially since they're a day behind us.
We'll wait for them to come.
They will see us.
I'd like to take a coin to edit the situation.
Sure.
Because I'm thinking about something that I would have to do anyway, and didn't think about it before we left. So I'm sitting here like, yeah, I've got a bear and a dryad with me, and no matter what, that's gonna. Well,
On stats,
mechanically,
sure.
yeah, but it's a dryad.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be really hard to hide.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about that, I probably would have had some sort of wagon, like tried to be constructed or taken from Stonehold,
Sure.
so that we could transport them, so that they're not like just hey, dryad bear.
They're all hanging out in the back of the wagon like a cart.
Yeah. So I'd like to say that I had that foresight before we left, and then that, in order to get them up close, this is also how we can pose as traders, because we could put our weapons inside the cart, and say that we are weapons traders.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we have a certain part of the cart covered, like the portion that is holding Charlotte and Hobbs, then
How big is your cart?
Big
What the hell- What's pulling this cart?
It's a 2-wheeled cart pulled by a donkey.
And a donkey can pull a fucking bear and a
We'll assume for the situation. It's a strong. Sorry, it's not a donkey. It's like a strong workhorse.
it's a storm horse.
Well, we do have storm horses in.
They're from
We,
here.
we
so it
did
makes
have
sense.
that one that we gave to the.
That's true. Sten, that's right. Probably is a strong horse for that matter. Sten, the horse trader, who you would be made peace with and brought back to
Yeah.
Stonehold.
I'm
brought
just
back
saying the
mayor.
bear alone.
Yeah.
Bear, lots of weight. If we're going real.
Well, I mean, however you want to get in, but
Why couldn't
Just give me
you
one, please.
why couldn't you be an animal trader, selling the bear?
I suppose I could do that too.
You want a bully?
Please.
Yes, I could be selling exotic animals.
Anybody?
You don't think that when you absconded away with me that they didn't know you had a giant fucking bear with you?
Right. That's ridiculous.
You see,
I
I'm
don't
not
know,
the
guys.
decision maker. I just have a few ideas.
There's a vigilante that calls himself the Ubermensch, and when he puts on his pair of spectacles, people expect not to know who he is. Like you and the bear.
I didn't know you guys
She
had.
slaps you across the chest, laughing.
I didn't know you had the bear when you absconded
Yes,
with
it's
the
that's
unchained.
why my first instinct was to go with them not seeing the bear and the dryad because, well, who's seen a dryad before this? I know I haven't.
Last time we made it out of here,
Wood
we
was,
barely
but-
escaped.
Wood woes, but who's counting?
Yeah.
So you want to do this trader thing, but you still have to do the timing.
So I go back to find the nameless, and how long you going to wait? You want us to come a day later after you take the towers?
A day from now.
What are we doing in that time?
Yeah, I was thinking that, we wouldn't go immediately because then we would
Right.
have to spend an entire day in Stonehold
Right. So we'd leave tomorrow. We'd leave for Stonehold tomorrow
in the morning.
in the morning.
Yes. And then hopefully they would arrive in a few hours.
Right.
So we have to be in the keep for a few hours somehow.
Yes, but
Do you-
that's much better than having to be in it for a day.
Do
I
happen
don't
to
mean
know
to
how
be
to-
the pessimist here, but that's a whole keep full of humans, possibly.
So, when we went to the Crow Master's keep, the gate was broken. Would you know how to break a gate to keep it open?
Yes. I would know how to break a gate to keep it open.
Then that's what we do.
You'd have to disable the mechanism.
We break it so that way they could not be repaired by the time that the nameless show up.
You get that big fucking sword? Abigail says. You can break it, right?
Yes, I've said that already.
All right.
I can easily break the gate so they couldn't repair it. So that's the plan.
Sure.
Go up there, break the gate, and wait for the cavalry.
Yeah, so we'll run and then wait for the cavalry.
You going to hold up inside the towers and waiting for all of us, just to be clear? She inquires. How many hours behind?
Hold up in the towers. Is there towers in this place?
Yeah, the gatehouse tower, where the mechanism would be, wouldn't it? We were there earlier, right, with Sorsha. So we remember. Yeah, there's a tower there with the gate mechanism. We'd hold up there.
So we need to hold for an hour or so in the gate mechanism area. Is it defensible?
I think so.
That's kind of
Usually-
why I was thinking we break it and run.
We'll find somewhere that is defensible if we need to.
You know how long that hill is down from sundown? It is a twisty turn, windy bit like this. Like a snake.
Mm-hmm.
They do that on purpose so they can shoot you as you...
Even if we did kill the lot of their archers, it wouldn't be long till they make their way to the gates and maybe they catch us by the napes of our necks, but they'd certainly feather us.
So maybe this is the only thing we do. We defend this small area. If it's hopefully... should be defensible. We usually tower gates are for the exact reason that we're trying to break this. You want this thing to never be broke. How do we get into this thing? How do we get into this room? Do you know exactly where it's at once he's doing his trading?
We came through here from before.
You take a boot and you kick it like this. Abigail kicks her leg out with the metal scraping and groaning.
We were in this city earlier when we rescued Abigail.
Okay.
So we're familiar with the area.
My other idea was that we could just wait for the Green John to come out, ambush him with 100 men, hold him captive, and either ransom him or use him as some sort of bargaining chip.
That's an interesting thought, but do you think Salamander cares for him?
I would think his own people care for him.
I guess there's one way to find out. We can wait and see what happens. In the meantime...
Those are just my two ideas. Take the gate and rush in with the army, or play the long game and wait for...
we don't know when he's coming back out of that castle.
And he may not come out. He may become a prisoner of... just like how she did.
I may have already betrayed him.
Farmer prisoner. Thanks to the lot of ye, she says.
Indeed. I don't know
I think we stick with our original plan.
Alright. That works for me.
So you want me to go to the Elk Riders and tell them to come an hour after dawn. So at dawn you're going... So to be clear, an hour after night, because at dawn you're going to strike at the towers when they raise the gates.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's
All
what
right.
they're
Yeah,
saying.
that's right.
And we're going to go as traders.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
I think you could do the talking for the trading part.
Certainly.
Keegan, you have serious doubts about that as they suggest that plan.
No, the whole time Keegan is listening to it, and like in his head he's got all these plans where he's like, I've got an idea and I got an idea, but he notices that anytime he puts up an idea it gets shot down, so he just sits there and bites his lip the whole time and doesn't say a word.
Well, Keegan, I think this is insane too, so why don't you say what you're thinking?
Keegan just looks at him for a second and then he looks at Osbert. Oh, it's fine.
No, I truly think this is the most insane plan I've ever heard. But
I would like to hear a better one.
You keep shooting my plans down. What's your plan?
I'm not saying
Well,
that sarcastically. I seriously
wasn't
would
your
like
plan.
a better plan.
that was his plan. I love the gate idea. How do we get to the gate? I don't know if being traders
I don't
is
know
going
if
to
that
work.
would work either. It's the best I can come up with.
I know, you can't find a better plan.
I don't have a better plan. I've never been to this place before. But Keegan seems to have a plan. But you seem to have some bizarre power over this man that he will not speak.
Keegan, I know you've had thoughts before. I know you've had
No,
dreams and
this-
aspirations. You dream in colors, you dream in red.
Well-
Can't find a better plan.
Well, all I can say is, last time you didn't listen to Keegan, you left him behind, and you both almost died by bird attack.
Yes, I
So,
would like
mean,
to. I would like
maybe
to.
we should listen to this person.
like to-
Keegan just, like, his eyes have gone wide, and at this point he's, like, shrinking down to the smallest possible size that he can.
Now, Keegan, tell us what you were thinking.
It's an order from your lord.
What,
How's this person work? He doesn't seem...
Keegan just stares for a second. It is a perfectly fine, we go in, as traders with a wagon with a bear that they're surely not going to lift the curtain to look at, and they most surely will not recognize as the bear that might have been traipsing repeatedly through their dungeons, and then we shall go in and kick some mechanism to break a gate. That is the plan.
So you don't have a better plan at all. You don't have
I am listening to our plan.
Oh, it is a terrible plan. I was hoping that you would have something else to add.
Tell
God.
them to make a better plan.
Can you make a better plan?
No, can't.
No, make a better plan.
He looks completely conflicted at this point.
This isn't my strong suit. You know this.
Keegan
Is there-
looks like a deer in the headlights if those such things existed in this particular place.
Is there anyone here that has the ability to pretend to be a trader?
Look, all right. So, but let's face facts. It's very accurate that obviously a bear is probably something they have seen. If we were going to go with the animal trader thing, unfortunately, I do believe that Hobbs might want to wait back with the army, if it was. So if we were going to try to do this animal trader thing, might I suggest that a gigantic eagle would probably be a better one to walk in with, if that was a particular idea. But if that's not going to be our idea as walking in as traders, because we haven't actually seen any merchants going in and out of this place, and it's very possible they have merchants, and no offense, but the Green John most likely does recognize us, and if he's walking in here for some kind of diplomatic relations, it would appear that our faces would be ones he would recognize. So it seems to me that there would have to be some kind of disguise if we were going to do it, and well, as this is on a hill, and I assume that the majority of, say, their farms and their foods must be down here, why can't we find some of their workers that might possibly be traversing in and out of said town and go with them in some kind of disguise? Wouldn't that seem to be a better way to get into said town?
Seems a better plan.
And an eagle can fly over a wall and meet us, so...
You can call the bear, right?
Hobbs. You call it Hobbs.
Yes, I can call the bear. I call him Hobbs. Yes.
But, well, what I mean is you leave him behind, and then when you call out, like, you give him a signal or something that he'll know,
But,
like a trick.
Yes, it's I haven't done that portion of my life's quest yet. I haven't unlocked the whistle. I haven't found it in we, you know how we wanted to go to that one particular dungeon. Well, we didn't. So.
Well, can you just, with your fingers, give a
Yes,
whistle?
of course I can.
Right.
And the bear's just gonna be at the bottom of the hill waiting for a whistle from inside Sundown Hill.
No, I believe the bear should come with the rest of the riders.
Okay.
Will the bear follow the riders without attacking? I mean, I don't know how this bear thing works. I've never seen a man with a bear, nor Susie. I'm just going to call it Susie because I don't know what that is. Or
you can call her Susanna if you're not familiar with Susie.
that bear was Hobbs. You guys are just confusing me at this point. But the man with the bear is you.
I am.
I think she's right. You do the eagle. We walk up there with the workers that are bringing food for the morning. I'm sure they got water being brought up the hill. They got, I don't know. I mean, maybe they have a spring up there, but I would think that food has got to come.
Right. I mean, and to be
Repairs,
honest, if we
stone
find
masons.
ourselves in such a situation that, say, we had to be in the keep where the Green John is, and Salamander and the others appear to have been at this point, and he turns and looks at Abigail. You said this was your uncle's keep, so why can't you tell us ways around it? I assume you've been here before.
If you go in inside, and you're not going to go on your own, I take you wherever you need to go. I don't know the streets well, but I know the way into the keep.
So is there a gate? Is there
Aye, on the outside of the bluff, but unfortunately, you already used that to fetch me out of this place. And I think they probably are watching that, or probably
Filled it in.
Filled it in. Damnable dungeon that it is. No, but if it comes to the keep, then certainly I can take you where you need to go. If we're following your plan.
Well, I didn't say anything. Keegan kind of draws back again after that.
Well, I
It makes sense not to bring the bear, they know. Thank you, Keegan.
Yes.
It does also make sense to pretend to be workers or whatever they are. I mean, you can bring your cart and...
The wood folds up, and as you traveled here in the cart, it folds up and looks like a bundle of sticks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, whenever it is in the back, it looks like a bundle of sticks.
That's not going to stick out at all.
You're right.
13.
That's minus 1,300 reward
I'll
points.
never
tonight.
learn any more spells.
I guess we did need the reward points.
So the intention is, just to be clear, is to go into the village, acquire some sort of disguise, make your way into the castle keep with the people who are kind of filtering in and out, and then make your way to the castle keep in hopes to find the Earl and eventually, really just to find Salamandra and hopefully Spite. Is that what you're going to go with?
The keep's got to have masons. It's got to have, the normal stuff that, So while they're moving in to work in the morning, we'll move with them. It's brilliant, Keegan. Couldn't have done it better for myself.
So
Even though I've never done anything like this.
I'm leaving Hobbs behind, but I'm taking Charlotte and Susanna, since we don't understand Susan.
Hey, but down this road.
No. I'm making sure I'm leaving behind
Yes,
Hobbs and
yes.
bringing Charlotte and Susanna.
Could you tell Hobbs to follow Abigail to come in when Abigail comes in with the Elk Riders later?
Yes, I can do that.
Well, there you go. Right.
Is anyone wearing armor?
Mm.
Abigail.
I
Or,
I give a treat to Abigail, and I say, "Here you go, Abigail. Hold this for about 5 minutes or so, and then offer it out to Hobbs, and he'll follow you."
All right. So you all head into the village near Sundown Hill and try to acquire some disguises, and then make your way into the gates and hopefully talk your way through in case if something happens. Who knows? But you'll have obviously the storm horse-drawn cart with a big bundle of sticks in the back, and somewhere the eagle will be overhead.
Firewood. Maybe we throw some other firewood in there.
So that means in order to disguise yourselves, you'll have to change clothes. So you'll be discarding... Will you be leaving your trappings behind, to be clear?
I'll be leaving all my weapons behind except for a dagger.
What about yourself, Osbert?
So we're leaving. We wouldn't be able to smuggle it in the wagon, is what you're saying.
Try.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you all a better chance of doing that because I don't necessarily need my weapons, even though if I'm caught, I want to have something.
Can you fly my weapons over the wall?
Yeah, we'll just tie the Zweihander to the broom.
Does that
Put it on the end. That way it's like just flying.
Keep in mind that any additional... You can carry additional things, but it reduces your encumbrance.
Yeah.
It's your encumbrance value. He doesn't need to put weight on the broom. He just has to carry it himself. So it
I know.
applies
It was
to- No, but it's smart.
was a
It's
joke.
smart.
I was
So
thinking
because
Well, then, do you want me to
let's-
wait outside the city then?
Because real quickly, just to be clear, if you're going to sneak your way in, you cannot come in dressed as you are.
Yeah.
You'll have to find a way to either hold out your weapons on yourself or try to hide them in the cart and convince the people at the gate not to look what's inside the cart.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna try to smuggle everything, my trappings in the cart.
Which is what? Like, help me understand what you're smuggling in.
So I'm smuggling in double-barreled pistol, shepherd sling, and knuckle duster.
And your cape?
Yeah, my cape and all
And the rest of your clothing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I'd like for you to do
Grim
is write that down on this green piece of paper.
Okay.
What about yourself, Chauncey? Obviously, you can...
I have this man that flies. Why would I do something as silly as put my shit in a cart?
So you want to leave your Zweihander with... excuse me, leave your Zweihander with Calvin. It's my understanding, right?
Yeah, because once we're inside, you can just fly over the walls, give me my shit,
Potentially.
and potentially we're gonna die.
Yeah. I'm willing to give it a try. If I can sneak in on these guys during the brightness of day, I can sneak in during the night.
Blinded by the light.
Morning, right? We're doing this in the morning, right?
Whenever.
Same,
Yeah,
but
this
yeah.
is morning.
So a Zweihander...
Is 2 encumbrance or 3 encumbrance?
I don't know. I'm gonna check. Find out right now. I'm looking under trappings. A Zweihander
no.
is 3.
3. I thought it was 3.
I thought it was.
Anything else that you're going to have him take? We're going to leave the rest of your weapons behind. You can find a place to hide them in the forest if you need to come back for them later on.
I mean, I usually do. I would do the musketoon too because it would help us to defend the door. But
Musketeer?
it's a lot of extra weight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't plan on carrying any weapons myself because magic, you know. But
Oh, here's a sack.
yeah.
So the Musketeer has 2 encumbrance.
All right. So I'm at +5.
Oh,
No, I mean I'm just adding everything up.
I thought you meant like. Or,
Anything else you want to have him carry?
Anything else? Anyone
Nope,
else?
nope.
Nope.
I mean some bullets, but that's.
Oh yes.
How many?
I mean, 5's fine. I mean,
Usually it's 9 per encumbrance, so
or
if I can take 5, I might as well take 9.
9.
All right.
So bullets. Okay. Anything else you want to offload?
Nope. I will take my Pictish razor and I will hide it near where we're at right now.
So you want to hold out the Pictish razor in the cart?
No, I will hide it where we're at right now.
Yeah, you bear it.
Oh, okay,
basically.
got it. Okay, cool.
Hide it next to the Golden Lake.
Okay. So we'll put this here. Can I see your card, please?
Yeah.
What of yourself, Collinsworth?
I'm gonna carry a dagger on myself.
Okay. What about the rest of your stuff?
Oh no, I'm gonna
basic,
hide
yeah.
it with the stuff out here. Yeah, no weapons or nothing.
Okay. Calvin, what will you take with you?
These guns.
That's right, you're a muscle mage. This gun. And finally, that brings us to Keegan.
Keegan is going to stash a shepherd sling here by wherever with our stuff, and carry a walking cane and a knife on him, because that seems like a worker might have those 2 things.
That's what I was wondering about the axe. Would that be something that a woodsman would have?
Is it a woodsman axe?
No,
No.
but it's definitely a Pictish.
It is a Pictish weapon.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's a Pictish
weapon.
razor, or it's basically the equivalent of a throwing axe. It's also used by hand.
Right. So
It is definitely a weapon.
I have a hunting bow. If you want to take that.
Keegan can hand you his knife. I mean, a worker would have a knife.
Sure.
Knife, yes. Knife.
So
Keegan just has his walking cane.
okay, well, I don't think we'll do any
Shouldn't arrest.
dice rolls for you to find disguises. Just to be clear, you're not wearing armor. You're wearing just your determination. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
that's
what I
what
thought.
you had told me
That's
to
what
do.
I thought. Okay.
You told me I didn't have armor because I was
That's right. Yeah.
Encased
captured.
in
That's right. That's right. They found your sword. That's right. So you have kind of your weapons. So you're basically making your preparations at this point, and you begin to head toward the gates. among a throng of people, and it's in clearly there are people coming in and out of this place without a doubt, back and forth. There's all manner of things happening here in Stonehold. Quite a few people kind of filtering in and out, but it's clear that the guards have been doubled up, so to speak. And you can hear bells kind of within ringing every once so often inside of Stonehold, as clearly there's some sort of service or service being held outside of Stonehold. But the guard has there's a pretty healthy number of guards who are kind of checking people as they come in and out. Probably the villagers they know mostly by name or by face. So when strangers show up, that's a different story.
It's like, do we have wood in this wagon?
You sure do. Charlotte.
Some of it's alive.
Some of the living wagon. So you begin your approach, and most of the people are kind of let in, and as you begin to come toward the gates, almost instantly, the guards who are dressed in bits of leather and mail and these conical-looking helmets, they stop you, and one of them inquires, "Who's foremost? And who's leading the party forward?"
That'd be me.
Okay. "Travelers fair you be?" the man inquires.
Yeah, we're looking to sell some wood and whatnot in this wagon in the city.
"What'd you say?" one of the men says, or sorry, one of the women says as she looks toward the wagon. She begins to walk toward it.
Mm-hmm.
She pulls the cloth up and looks down and covers it again. "You're selling thatch?" she inquires.
Mm-hmm.
She looks out in the woods. "Don't know how much Sundown Hill needs thatch." She motions toward the forest that surrounds the bottom of the hill. "Where are you hail from?"
Oh, out there near Cauldron Lake.
"How come I've never seen you before?"
I never seen you. We don't come out here too often, but last time we came through, you weren't here either.
"Your accent's a bit queer," one of them, the man says.
Osborne just shrugs.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a guile test, just a bluff.
Okay.
This test will be challenging.
Can I attempt an assist?
Yeah, how will you assist?
So Keegan's gonna step forward and go, "It seems strange that we haven't seen you either, but I guess being in the forest, that kind of does it. You know, we got a cabin," and he kind of describes a little bit where Caliban's cabin is.
Uh-huh.
Just to kind of give it a realism.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay, go ahead and roll your challenging bargain test and add that assist die.
You said
2
bargain or
assist
guile?
dice.
Sorry, guile.
Okay.
It's 2 assist dice.
Okay, so
Double the flavor, double the critical failure chance. Roll them all!
45% chance to succeed.
With double.
And I rolled a 44.
You must still roll the dice.
All right. There's a 2 and a 1.
Okay, so it's a crit success.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. See your way through. And you were urged inside of Stonehold, where we will pick up next week for the final, where you will make your way into the castle keep and find your way to seek Salamandra and Spite, and we will see what happens. 75 reward points. Can't play that on video. We can't play this. So, I think we have some conflict tonight. No? None? All right. Nope. So you go one step toward belief or one step toward flaw. It's up to you. When there's 0 gained, you pick whichever one you want to go. So let's talk about tonight from character perspective. This is like the last time we'll be able to do this. So this is obviously kind of a culmination of many different game sessions, this being session 29. And this next week is literally our last game session. Period.
For this campaign.
For this campaign for Desperation Point, and then we'll pick back up the following week for the new game. But what's going on with what's going on in Keegan's mind? This is kind of the end of the road, so to speak. Could be your doom, could be your success.
Keegan doesn't know what the hell, because now he's not used to things depending on him other than him assisting other people. Like, he's not used to him being the forefront of anything.
Uh-huh.
So I think right at this moment he's kind of petrified that this is his idea, and if it fails, then everybody dies. It's all his fault, and oh dear God, what is he gonna do? So I think he's kind of there right now. And there's like a huge part of him, obviously, that's like, we could have just gone with somebody else's idea, and then it wouldn't have been my fault when we died. Because that's kind of his thought, is we're going in to die. But now he's like, well, it's my fault that we die now. So
yeah,
that's kind of where he's at right now.
So 50 reward points. Real quick point of clarification. Calvin, were you gonna fly in?
I think so.
Okay, so you're not actually with him. You're flying in separately. You're hoping to rendezvous. Okay, so let me write that down real quick. Calvin will rendezvous.
What I would do is, if you guys get inside, I'd have you open up a window and I'd fly in.
Well, Yin, you'll come in and then leave, right?
Yeah.
Because then it'll be a rendezvous, then I'm through with you?
Yeah, exactly. Rendezvous, give you your weapons, then I'm through with you.
Just go over the wall and just hand
Oh, man.
I love that song,
Late
actually.
90s, one-hit wonder.
So let's move next to Calvin.
Right, so Calvin... So, he's been... I don't know, like... He's finally gotten to greater magic. He's looking forward to using some of these spells. Because it's going to be fun. Because he was thinking about, like... I don't know. Calvin has a lot of potential power. He also is trying to make sure he doesn't abuse it, because he's also just like, I could just throw greater magic around and just solve all of our problems, right?
Yeah.
And then no, that's not a good idea. Don't do that.
I was really thinking you may get a wild idea and try it.
He's trying, because he understands that he has great power. He's trying to have great responsibility. All right, someone has to counter out him, and his flaw is disobedience. So sometimes he does try to.
What kind of magic user are you?
I know. One with restraint. I'm the exact opposite of the characters you do. That's what the elementalist is.
It's almost like Kay's your aunt, because it's almost like you're talking about advice you received from Uncle Ben.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
That was
50 reward points. Let's move next to Chauncey.
Chauncey's still just trying to find himself in this group. I think he's figured out that they're all just crazy.
They're mad.
They're mad. There's one's got a bear and a creature and a bird, and he still hasn't figured out what any of that is. Their leader is a crazy person.
The last person that should be leading.
The last person that latches on to the first thing that's said and then instantly will disregard it when something else comes up.
Yes.
It's just the floating, oh yeah, that's what we're doing. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So the only sensible person he's found so far is Keegan. So that's what he's just like, well, let's let this person just talk, because there's sense here.
Awesome.
And the only other person that seems to have any value in his head is this one. He's like, that thing, he flies. I mean, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Who is the smotley
Who
crew?
is this? And they got a guy who flies. All I can think about in my head is how many problems would have been solved if we had a guy who could fly every time.
That's true, because Chauncey hasn't seen...
No, magic is not...
No, there was no magic in the other campaign.
That's right, yeah.
So that's why, would he do what we're doing? No, never, ever. No warrior would. But at this point, it's well, we got a guy who can fly. You're right. Let's try this.
This one talks to animals. This one can fly. We got a madman for a leader. And
all the rules are out.
All the rules are out. You say that all logic
and
flies
our
out the window?
foundation is from Keegan.
Yeah.
The guy too scared to talk.
Yeah.
So 50 reward points for that. So I want to go next, actually, to Collinsworth before
By the way, I don't think you actually said
Osborne.
this.
This is Collinsworth.
I mean,
That's
like,
vegan, by the way.
Collinsworth's thoughts aren't
So
incredibly
the eye is
like
gone.
um,
He's
in depth at this after this particular
Yeah, I
episode.
think
and
that
it like
flaws in this
seemed straightforward for him.
Uh-huh.
We got to
He has
find
a
a way to
high
get in there, but he's not a tactician, so that's why he was like trying, like just reaching for everything that he could possibly think of to try it, you know. And so he's always an optimist, and he's always superstitious, and so he just he's here to try and win the day. And he's hoping that he can do it with his magical super friends, you know, like.
That's enough to see. That's what I'm talking about.
You know, he's got his.
But where's Glee?
Yeah, so you know, he's gonna probably have a pretty rude awakening next episode, because I mean that's kind of what he's been back and forth on a whole lot, has been like, oh yeah, things are gonna be great, it's an adventure, this is awesome, and then oh no, there's so much wrong here, and he gets like bitter and dour and like depressive. So
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
that's
Pretty
where he's
warm
at.
points.
Yeah.
Hopefully the magical super friends of the forest survive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what will be interesting is his reaction to when like Collinsworth actually like turns into one of them.
Well, think every turn you can switch to a different creature.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'll be
it'll
the
cost.
eagle, and I'll be the dream.
Right. You know, like
was.
I could see myself doing some weird like, I don't know, like superhero show or anime show or something, like where like I start off as the eagle, like come swoop in and like attack, and then spend the AP to turn into the wood woes and like stand there and like
Then switch to
attack-
the bear, and then switch
choke
back to the eagle.
choke someone out, and then like
It's badass.
yeah.
What are you talking about? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's awesome. It's just like yeah, it's just silly too, and
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
See, yeah, from my perspective, you just look like a crazy person that has.
Yeah,
pets.
you haven't seen him in action yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Again, guy flies. I'm like, all rolls around
We
the
got
window.
this covered.
We got this covered. That guy can fly over walls. Let's just hand him our shit and walk in.
Great.
Yeah.
So finally we come to Osbert.
So, like, this is, like, the moment that Osbert has been, like, waiting for since he got to the north. He's finally in Stonehold, surrounded by his friends and allies, and he's carved out his piece of the north. Like, he's mission accomplished. Like, you know, the banner behind him and everything. And, like, this is his
So
moment.
is Sundown Hill the aircraft carrier?
Yeah, yes. So it's like, this is like the moment when he's like, you know, before his belief was destiny and his flaw is deviant, like his destiny was to carve out the piece of the north. He fulfilled his destiny. So like that's why his, you know, his belief in flaw are now duty and fatalism. It's his duty to protect it, and like that's why he goes to Sundown Hill.
No, it's good. Good reward points. So we've come to the end of the road, and we have we have one session left. No. Yes, one session left. And yeah, we'll conclude in session 30, which is weird to think about. Tim, I'm sorry you had to join in a session of the game so late, but it's glad to have you back. You're playing you'll play a fun character. Next week will be fun. We'll see how everything unfolds. I'm gonna make some terrain just in case.
Awesome.
You never know. But we'll see what happens. How the dice land, how the dice roll. Could be one of those situations where it's like when you murder the three sisters in their sleep, or two of them at least.
Yeah.
Got one unawares, and the other one just. So, thank you all for watching and listening. You'll see us again in person next week, and after that, after the conclusion of Desperation Point, we will resume with our new player, Sarah. We'll be in different positions around the table, and we'll start a new game, As Above, So Below, tentatively titled, which will be a whole new game, and we're going to be jumping forward in our timeline quite a bit to kind of start fresh for everyone. So, thank you for your patronage. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Mhm.
See you all next week.
So,
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
I'm just happy I got to say follow your heart to Chauncey again.
I know.